Hello, everyone. Welcome to another IEKC FIKA with Wadat Hussaini, Director of Manasa area, NASPA. And my guests today are Dr. Jayme and Miss Vickie Unferth, who are the past IEKC chairs, co-chairs, and we would like to chat a little bit with them about this role. So I will start by asking them to introduce themselves first so we can start this discussion. Who would like to start?
I'll go first. So I am Jayme Scally. I have served as the co-chair of the IEKC for the last 2 years. My professional role is teaching assistant professor in multidisciplinary studies at West Virginia University in West Virginia in the US. Vickie?
I'm Vickie Unferth. As Jayme mentioned, I've also been a co-chair for the IEKC for the last 2 years. And before that, we served as co-chair elects for a year. My job is coordinator of international students and programs at Marshalltown Community College, which is in Marshalltown, Iowa, in the US.
Welcome to our FIKA. And I'm sure you liked our FIKA as much as our audience like it. And I would like to start by asking you if you would like to reflect on your journey as co-chairs. What would be you consider a true challenge and a true achievement for you in the past 2 years?
Sure.
I'll start because I think yes, we served as co-chairs elect for a year, but I think at the same time we didn't really know what we were getting into. So we had our first meeting at an NASPA conference 2 years ago, and we were like, is this what we do? Is this how we go about things? So for us, a lot of it was kind of guesswork about is this how things should work? Um, so yes, I think by the end we got some things together and were able to accomplish things. Did we necessarily meet all our goals? No, but I think that um, we at least maintained and um, got some things accomplished. And I think Jayme can talk more about awards um, and yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree that whole, is this what we're supposed to be doing? Are we doing this right thing? I feel like that continued all the way through to this moment, even though we're not in the roles anymore. Um, And so I kind of actually think that's like one of the fun parts of being involved in the KC, like seeing how it kind of evolves just naturally. And so we were the co-chairs, but we have a really great team that we were working with throughout that. And so a lot of the responsibilities and the questioning and trying to figure out if we were doing the right things, we had a lot of people we could bounce it off of, like Wadad, and then the other incoming or current now chairs of the KC, Carrie and Russell. So I think that has helped us as we tried to figure it out. I think the IEKC stagnated a little bit more than maybe some others under COVID. And so coming out of that was a lot of
Yes.
extra work for us. But yeah, so in all of that, we have been able to accomplish a lot. So we've had a really good run of our IEKC Best Practice Award winners, as you've seen watching these FICAs, and you'll see more coming in the future. And so we did a little rework of some of those to try to update them. We have been able to contribute consistently to the IEKC Knowledge Communities publication. We're sponsoring programs. We've started collaborating a little bit more with different kind of internationally focused units around NASPA, so like the Global Division and Manasa. Um, this year, hopefully, many of you were at the reception that we had for global initiatives. So I think that we've started to kind of figure out a path and try to make it a little bit more clear. And while we didn't accomplish all the goals, I think we have been able to accomplish quite a bit.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we've, we pick sponsored programs for the NASPA conference. And I think that part of it has been how NASPA has changed that process, but we had programs that were featured both by us and by the global division. So I think that's an accomplishment too, to really highlight those international programs that are part of the regular conference.
Yeah. So, so it was a very, I think, because I was member, it was a very fruitful year, and I think we did in the IEKC many things that are going to pave the way for the incoming co-chairs, many things. And this is will bring me to the second question, which is, what would be your tips or your advice to the incoming co-chairs, Russell and Kerry?
I mean, personally, I feel like they're going to be great. I feel like we relied on them a lot already, so I feel like they don't need advice necessarily. But I would say maybe just to remind them that the rest of us are here and they don't have to do all the heavy lifting because there is a lot of heavy lifting being involved in knowledge communities, which I don't think I was fully aware of.
Yeah.
At times, we were doing more work for the KC than I was for my actual job, or at least that's what it felt like. So just reminding them that they can rely on all the rest of us. We have a really solid community, and they know that already. But yeah,
Yeah, I agree. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that too. I think that um, again, we really didn't know what we were getting into, and yes, we managed to get things done that needed to be done. And I feel like Russell and Carrie are already probably more on top of knowing what needs to happen. And I do feel like yes, we did rely on people that were on the board with us, and I'm just going to agree with what Jayme said that the two of us will continue to be around, and that there are others on the board that are really helpful as well. And hopefully at the conference, we picked up some new people too. I know there were people that volunteered and said that they were interested in participating with the board. So there will be new help as well.
yeah. I've had a few emails after the conference too, so hopefully,
Oh,
yeah,
this is very interesting. Yeah, I think we
yeah,
are growing as a community. Yes, I
yeah.
think. And it's very good. And this would bring me to the second question. They are so related, which is about you've been so long with NASPA, with IEKC. So why do you think and why you recommend to join KCs in general in NASPAs and specifically IEKC, International Education Knowledge Communities?
Well, for me, yes, I've been a NASPA member for a really long time, but the majority of that time, my focus was on residence life. And
Okay.
so starting to work with international students and getting involved with the IEKC were a new world for me. So it has been really helpful in getting to know people, especially people who are not in the US, and counting upon them as resources. And then getting involved with the symposium, which is not directly the IEKC, we have a connection, obviously. Getting involved with the global division, again, we have that strong connection, which has only gotten stronger in the last couple of years. So I think that there is so much that can be learned by getting involved with the knowledge community, and in this case, particularly the international education knowledge community, but then also um, I just lost my thought. But also, um, I'll come back. I can't think what I was going to say.
I'll hop in then. Um, so I would say that NASPA is massive, like insanely, ridiculously huge. And
Yes.
I have no idea how anybody could make something that big worthwhile on its own. Um, People who are better at navigating things maybe could, but for me, like the first time I went to a NASPA conference, I was just like standing there watching everything pass me by because I just didn't know how to engage properly. Um, and so I I mean, for me, international education study abroad's the actual reason I went to college. It was like I wanted to get out of the US, and that was the only way my 17-year-old brain could figure out a way to do it. And so it worked out for me, but I was actually living abroad when I first really got involved in NASPA. And for that, it was like this idea of what does higher education look like outside of the US and
Yes.
trying to like keep a connection to like a formalized community that understood the field in the way that I was kind of coming from the US background, but being outside of that context. And so it gave me kind of like a foothold into that world while I was living in a different world, really. And then I've moved around a lot since then too, lots of very geographically diverse places. And NASA was kind of in the consistent thing there. And so my paid work again has moved outside of international education. I teach now, and what I teach has definite connections to like intercultural competence, but it's not directly in international ed world. And so the KCs have allowed me to kind of stay involved in that. And I would say too, like there are so many different KCs. I don't actually remember the number of them now, but like dozens. And I was involved in another one before the IEKC and found that one not as useful for me. And so I think one of the really important things is to find the knowledge communities that actually really speak to you. So the one that I was involved before was kind of a general one, and it felt like it would fit everybody, but I think it was just too general. And so finding this more narrow niche with the IEKC and then the connections like Vickie was talking about with like the Global Division and the International Symposium, those are how I've really been able to find the place that felt welcoming and like building my community, but also useful in like a learning kind of way too. Like
Yes.
those practices are the stuff that I've been able to incorporate into my work. So I think maybe there's a little trial and error in getting involved in the KCs to find the ones that really do speak to you. And I think the IEKC is the best. So,
Yes, I agree.
good place to end up.
I
Well, and I
agree.
think what I want to add is that, yes, the NASPA conference is huge. And I actually happen to like that hugeness because
Yeah.
there is such a variety about it. But I think for someone who wants a way to get involved professionally, that the IEKC is a way to bite off a little bit of that because, and probably any of the other knowledge communities too, but there are smaller tasks that people can volunteer to be part of, and then that can grow into taking a bigger leadership role within the IKC or for that matter, any of the other knowledge communities, because there are lots of opportunities within the KCs.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. The IEKC is the best in when you are especially an international member of the NASPA. Really, because I was involved with other IEKC, but I couldn't connect and identify except with the IEKC, and this is why I stayed with it for, and I was volunteering as to do things with the IEKC. So I cannot but agree with Jayme and Vickie. And this is the end of our FIKA. Definitely, we will be seeing you again in other opportunities, maybe not FIKA, but other webinars, anything that is related to international education. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being great co-chairs for us. And have a great spring break.
Thank you. Thank you.